Hey, Lori here. You know, thoughts for this week on 10/7/23. I have had a lot of pain in my life. However, I do get through them. And how? Well, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow you away. Ready for an adventure? A voice in the dark, Lori Elliots. We do not consent. We are the human race. Many colors, many styles, one race. Well, it kind of starts out like this. I we all have it. We have for years we thought I had ADHD, and actually it was CPTSD, childhood trauma. Now, getting through that was a little easier than trying to adjust to ADHD all the time. I still believe I have some ADHD, but they kind of are real similar. The some of the actions that you have in your life when you have either one. So anyway, um, this is a school, and God made you the way you are so that you would experience life through you, not through your neighbor, not through your husband, not through your kids, not through your parents, not through any other entity but yourself. So what I'm going to tell you is this story is about the mental plane. It's about how you think. It's about how you perceive things. And it's getting through I call it the universal mind fuck. How you get through that is how you get to heaven. And you get through this school, and it's entrappings. There's nothing wrong with being here and playing. You are meant to play. You are meant to experience life as you are in this lifetime. You had a blueprint for this lifetime. So the things that you're experiencing is what your soul wanted to experience. And your soul is always with you, a part of it. And you're always connected directly to divine consciousness. You just have to tap into it. And I talk about getting a hypnotherapist and stuff like that, because we do have other lifetimes. I don't care if you want to call them past or linear or whatever. You do have other lifetimes. And they are, sometimes we carry over lessons from those lifetimes because we want to get it over with. We want to learn the lesson. What is the lesson we're trying to learn? We're trying to learn to love ourselves no matter what we did, forgive ourselves for no matter what we did, and actually learn a lesson from no matter what we did. And that lesson is usually how you expected something that was never communicated between you and this other person, because it involves other people or people. And it's about taking personal responsibility for your flaws that help lead to some disastrous situation. Now, in some big cases where there's huge atrocities and horrid things, that's a group consciousness. And yes, it still will boil down to each person taking personal responsibility for where you turn in a blind eye. Because that we shouldn't do either. We should always strive to do what's right for the greater good of all. So, anyway, I'm not going to get on here and preach. What I'm trying to get on here and tell you is that you can do this. And you can enjoy this reality while you're here. Yes, it's going to throw shit at you, because that's what it does. But it will throw nice things at you. Good things. Once you get to a point where you have forgiven yourself deep down inside and understood that everything you did was right in the eyes of God, because He expects you to make mistakes here. He expects you, that's what you come here to do, make mistakes, so that you can understand what that is. Because our soul's true self is joy. It's joy and unconditional love. However, we come here to learn the hard lessons. We come here to learn what pain feels like, and disorder and chaos and horrors that are unthinkable. And how we get through them and what we learn from them is the most important part. And as soon as you sit yourself down and give yourself a little time, a week, 2 weeks, take vacation, whatever, go sit in monk school or somewhere. But sit in silence with yourself and ask the big questions. And God will help you find it. The angels are everywhere. Aliens, angels, you name it, we got it. Ancestors, our soul families that pass over, they're there to help us too after they've passed over. And there is no death, not really. It's just we're done with this program. And our lesson is to learn and release death, those that we love. And it's not easy, but it's easier when you know that they're hovering anytime you want to talk to them. And because mine always are. And sometimes I don't want to talk to them because I don't want to face this reality that I've put myself into. But I'm glad they're there because they are also my greatest cheerleaders. And so I'm trying to be their champion right now. And break all these insane generational curses. Women having to put up with drunks for husbands because they don't want to give up their standard of living. Screw that standard of living. Let me tell you about that standard of living. It's all poppycock. You make what your standard is. I did. And it wasn't easy, especially in this society. But I did it anyway because I didn't believe in staying with someone or putting myself into harm's way with someone that was not going to be compatible with me. But I love my children. I wouldn't have changed that for anything. And I'm just saying, you don't have to go by what you see society doing. You can do it different. Dare to do it different. It's a journey, let me tell you, no matter which way you go. But maybe it's a journey you need to take so that you can feel your own personal power. That you're not letting the narcissist wipe you out and snowball you and make you feel like shit. And then come in and, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then, he's gone again. And you won't put up with the violence. Did you know, even if they don't hit you, that yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs all the time at night when they're drunk, that is abuse? Look, I know the old rhyme says sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me, and that's a bullshit lie. It does hurt you. It hurts you more than getting your bones broke. At least you can see that, and you can see when it's healed and it's over. It's the emotional abuse and mental abuse that does not mend easily unless we sit down and take a good hard look at it. Our lifetimes here are meant to prove to us that we can stand up for ourselves. We can be who we want to be with no one jurisdiction over us. And again, we got to live within the law. That's a given because we are in societies. But as far as status quo on how my front yard should look or my backyard or how I should dress or how I should speak or how I should, stay silent and look pretty on some man's arm? Oh, those are the ones that really get me. Oh, and your fingernails aren't done. Fine, honey, you want to pay for them? Pay for them and I'll get them done. But I'm an artist, so I'm going to go out and ruin them. And I do the damn dishes. So anyway, let's get to reality. I like these YouTubers and TikTokers that are doing the reality ones that, you take those gorgeous actress types and stuff that are going, oh, and this should be like this and like that, and let's get to some fucking reality. I am 40 pounds overweight. I can't do that move, but here, I'll try it, honey. You want to see me do it? My husband would have shit if I tried to get on one of those strip poles in our bedroom. I would have fallen right over, and he knows it. And he would have laughed, and I wouldn't. I would have cried. So, we can't be all the stupid shit that they're trying to tell us we can be, or we should be. We don't need to be any of that. If you don't want to wear makeup, don't wear makeup. If you want to dress like a boy, dress like a boy. If a boy wants to dress like a girl, dress like a girl. But let's not make a big issue of it, because that's what rubs these other people wrong, because they don't understand. You're breaking tradition. What is tradition anyway? What are we holding on to? Rules and regulations that are beyond regular laws to make us feel what? Accepted? Or good? Because let me tell you something, behind closed doors, and I've seen that part, that's why I can have an attitude. Don't go to Sunday school, and don't go to Sunday church service and act all and nice and fine, and do the things that you do behind closed doors at night, or in other doors at night, or in the afternoon, or none of us are perfect, and none of us are squeaky clean. So stop hiding behind some bullshit to try to make other people feel bad, because they're being real and authentic. I will stand by the misfits any day, because you dared to be yourself. I dared to be myself. My mother, I was painting eggplant purple on my walls, and it was just the small walls, because I had this really cool green, bright green that I was putting on the other ones, light, bright green. And she simply looked at me and said, "I think you're taking your anger out on your walls." I went, "Mom, it's going to look cool." And it did. It looked really good with that green, and it was just a little patch of it. It wasn't, like a whole big wall. But that was her attitude with me, with anything I did, no matter what I did. I ceased trying to please her years ago, when I was a kid, actually, because she made it that way. And a lot of it was her pain and her suffering, and she just didn't know how to be a mom. And I'd ask her honest questions. I wanted to know about sex one time. I came home from school. I said, "The kids are teasing me about sex. Tell me something about sex. I don't care about it." I said, "But they're making fun of me, and I don't like to be made fun of." And she looked at me and she says, "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You'll learn as you grow up." Well, henceforth, so I begin to learn as I grow up, and I get caught, and my dad's furious. And he's screaming at me in the middle of the night one night. He caught me in my, I had built an outside, what do you call those, tree house thing? I got caught with a boy out there. So he's really furious, and I finally stopped him, and I said, "Look here, I don't know why you're yelling at me. I asked Mom 2 weeks ago, tell me something about sex so I can tell the kids, because they're making fun of me. I'd like to be a naive. I didn't care about all that crap. I was an artist. I I liked the wonder of life, and I didn't appreciate bullies, so I stuck up for the underdogs. But I needed something to swing back, to spit back. And Mom said I'd learn as I grow up. Henceforth, I'm learning, and I don't see what you guys see in this. I don't get it at all. And my dad, the look on his face. He told me, he goes, "Go to bed." And so I went down to my room, and I could still hear him up for hours, him screaming at my mom, because she didn't know how to tell him that I needed some help. He goes, "I would have talked to her. I would have told her. I don't care. I'm not afraid." And so what I'm trying to explain here is not to put my mom or my dad down. What I'm trying to explain is that our parents themselves are not perfect, but we see them as gods because we're little and we're young, and they're our main, knowledge boards, But sometimes they can't answer certain questions, and sometimes they can't be there for us in the way we want them or need them to be, because they don't know how. So ease up on your parents. Take a look at yourself and say, "Well, I got through it okay," and let it go. Forgive them and forgive yourself for having an attitude, because I always loved them, even though it was not easy being their daughter, their oldest one. And I had to listen to my dad for years blame his whole life misery on me, because I came along and they had to get married and blah 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 blah. And finally one day, I don't know, I was in my 40s, maybe 50s, when my mom was dying. and he was here a lot in the mornings. And every day, I listened to this for months. And finally, I just got mad. I said, hey, I didn't screw her, you did. I just had to put it point blank for him to get it, knock it off, you know. So what I'm saying is they get stuck in their heads just as much as we do. So give them a break, cut them some slack, tell them how you feel about certain things, and let it go. Because they might not be ready to make a change in their thinking and whatever. And that brings me right on back around to the nature of this subject. The subject is thinking and brain power. You have one of the most incredible minds. We all do. It's part of our makeup in our physical body. And we have a consciousness, super consciousness too. So you have the ability to heal, I mean overnight if you want to. They tell you, oh, it takes years and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't. It does not. Once you face a problem, the real thing, get down to the nitty gritty, allow it to come through, and see it. Now, sometimes you need a hypnotherapist, and I agree with that, because then you're seeing it third person, observer, does not hurt again, even if it's sexual abuse. It does not hurt anymore. But you see it for what it is, and you see that it was wrong, because they weren't supposed to do that to you. But you also knew that it felt good, because it does. Physically, it does. There's nothing wrong with that. Stop wearing your guilt and shame in all the wrong places. And whoever did it, that's on them. But stay away from them. You can forgive them in your heart. Do not forgive them to their face. They don't deserve it, in my book anyway. But you can let it go, because then you've seen it, where these because what we're trying to get to is the feelings we're feeling that we're hiding. We're hiding it behind booze and food and drugs and sex and being wild and crazy. I like being wild and crazy now and again. I'm 63. I'm going to be 64 next month. Don't tell anybody. But I still want to be wild and crazy. I hope I never get old. Or, I hope I never get old. So, but I want a healthy wild and crazy. I don't want an unhealthy wild and crazy. And that's how you should feel too. So, sit with yourself every now and then, and get off the phones and the internet and the TV. I mean, get to some quiet. Make your own music, or just sit in silence. Read a book. But sit in silence for a couple weeks and get to the bottom of whatever you're really feeling, and let it come up. Let yourself feel that feeling and ask God. Say, hey, can you ask the angels or somebody to help me with this? I don't understand this feeling and where it's coming from. And I don't want to act this way or be this way anymore. I want to understand it. And you'll either get a vision in your head. It's like, for me, it was always like a movie screen on where my third eye is, between your eyebrows on your forehead. It was like a movie screen would come on, and I would see whatever I needed to see. You'll either hear a voice or a feeling, or you'll get a memory. And it's different for everyone, but it will come through, and they will help you, and they'll hold your hand. If you allow yourself to feel it, you can feel those angels. They're one on each side. They're filling you with love and energy and bravery to go through these things. So go through them. You're never alone. And if you ever need to talk to me, my email is always in the description box. And get help. Because the big thing is that you're supposed to live this life, not be miserable. You're supposed to live it. You're supposed to explore it and explore different feelings. There's a lot of good ones out there. I got to the point where I was going through my dark night of the soul in the last few years, and I buried all my feelings, so digging them up was a real pain in the ass. And I fought it all the way. But I finally did. And the miracle is, and this is what's going to blow you away, is once you walk through that pain, and it takes maybe a minute and a half, it's gone. It's over. Unless you want to make it permanent. Then it's a choice. And then that's on you. And you have to look at things that you did that were stupid. You have to look at things that you did that make you feel shame and guilt. We all do it. No one's alone in this. And I mean no one. Whatever it is. But you have to look to see what in you didn't love yourself enough to stop you from doing that kind of behavior. This school is about going through pain and lessons and heartache and trials and tribulations, all to find out that you're still lovable, just the way you are, and that you are beautiful, and you are worthy, and you have value. And God doesn't see you as a sinner. He sees you as a beautiful being that's going through hell and someday will come back home. And that's what this is all about. This gives you the chance, the big chance, to make that big decision. Do I want to stay in hell where it's miserable and everybody's happy with misery? Or do I want to take a chance to heal and walk through some pain and let this shit go and, see what's good out there for me? What would it be like for me to be good and to be solid in how I feel about myself and to have self-confidence and to find that little niche that, is my world? What kind of art do I want to do, or what kind of writing, or what is my gift? We all have one, and you need to find yours. And it will lead you to a journey of love and laughter. And sometimes you'll fall down. And I'm crying because I'm happy. They're good tears. They're beautiful tears. And those are the best ones. But God's been good to me, no matter what I did. And I've blown up and yelled at him and screamed. I think he's got his own earmuffs that say Lori's on. And then he waits a day, lets me cool off, and then I cry and apologize. But the point is, he doesn't hold any of this against you. So stop allowing anyone to make you feel guilty and shameful. You made a mistake. You misinterpreted something. That's all. So go back, look at it, reinterpret it, get a new perspective. Shame on that son of a bitch, whoever put you through the hell in the first place. And then love yourself more, and then more, and then more. Until you feel so good about yourself that no asshole can walk into your life anymore and take over. And walk you over, and this is for women and boys, men. We've all been through it, and we come from a society that likes to really push, the dickhead, that can win the winning football player and all that. It's like, well, what the hell's about the rest of the team? They all were needed too. He couldn't do it alone. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more of us than there are of them. So let's stop going yip yip hooray to the bad boys, because look, they're bad. They're not good for any of us, but we're all good for each other. So love yourself. And loving yourself means you're allowed to have boundaries. You're allowed to explore who you really are. Sex is beautiful, and it's fun, and it feels good, especially if it's done right. Yeah, I'm a stickler on that one. But anyway, this is one of the problems I'm having with the universe right now. I'm getting ready to send, and There's just some things you're not supposed to be thinking about. I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of it. But it's okay to explore, but do it wise and do it smart. Girls, I'm going to tell you now, you're only having sex when you're young because you want to be loved. You're missing some kind of love, in you. Love yourself first, and then you'll know that what you're like and what you love about yourself and life, and then you'll find a partner that's like that. Instead of taking the first boy that goes, ooh, baby, come here, let's have a talk. Don't give in to it. That's what I'll tell the girls. And boys, don't take advantage of girls because they're a little sensitive when they're young and they're looking for love or a daddy or this or that, and you're just trying to take advantage of it. We all need love, men and women both. But I'll tell you now, if you wait long enough, men and women both, and really explore who you are completely, without all the traditions and the dogma and all that crap, just you, raw. Who are you? That's the big question. Who am I? Find it. And remember God. God is all that is, source. And learn to meditate and sit in silence with God. You will always get an answer. He has never not answered me. And I have done things that, well, I'm just like anybody else, that I'm not too proud of. But I knew that he forgave me no matter what, because he expected me to experience things here, and I would talk to him about it. And I always get answers, and I always get truth. And build your intuition and find out, get to know who you are, your soul, your inner self. You got to heal, you got to get centered and explore who you are, because you might change, and that's okay. Change. It's all right. But if you wait long enough, sex will become an added bonus to love. And it's worth waiting for. I'll just tell you that much. And wait and let it be something beautiful, something fulfilling for both of you. And that's all I got tonight. That's what I've been thinking about. And I just wanted to let people know that you are loved no matter what. So screw people who are making you feel guilty or making you feel undervalued. You are valuable because you're valued by God. God is all that is. And trust me, God made you separate and individual and unique for a reason. So follow what your inner instinct says, not what the outer world says. What your inner instinct says. Be authentically you. So get with the program, hurry up and get healed and get busy, because you want to live. You want to live and explore and have fun. Get busy. I love you. Talk to you later. Lori out.